what's up everybody? So today I'm doing a video recording, well I guess they call this a podcast, whatever, with Jordan, just to learn about Jordan and learn about how she got into what she's doing, and then just some really good tips for anyone listening when it comes to nutrition, because you're crazy obsessed with eating well. And,
I am.
Yeah, obviously I am. So, but first we're starting with a really interesting story. So Jordan, when were you an intern?
When you very first opened your doors.
What was it? So that was what? I don't even remember. 2011?
That sounds about right. Yep.
And then here's an interesting story. So Jordan went on to get her master's in nutrition, and but then you quit, right? So you could have went one more semester to become a registered dietitian.
Yep.
And you were planning to do that, but then you said to heck with it, right? So tell that story, because I think it's super damn interesting.
All right. So yes, I was enrolled, basically dually enrolled to be to get my master's in nutrition and also to become a registered dietitian.
So that's one more semester. So you get your master's and then one more semester.
Well, I was doing it at the same time.
Okay.
So I was taking like undergraduate coursework and graduate coursework. So I was dually enrolled as an undergraduate student and a graduate student, if that makes sense. So there's a bunch of credentials you have to fulfill to be quote unquote a registered dietitian, which is different than nutritionist or whatever else you want to call it. But I was dually enrolled. So I was taking all these classes, and I was like 3 semesters in. I had 2 more semesters to go, and I would have had my master's in nutrition. I would have had the registered dietitian credentials, and I threw it away. I couldn't take it I couldn't take another class.
All right,
couldn't take another class.
You couldn't take another class because why? This is the good part. I don't know if it's a good part. It's the interesting part.
So, I mean, I had already been exposed to eupraxia. I'd done it myself, the eating plan that you preach. I continued that. I was still eating like that despite everything I was learning in school. It was, I mean, it's just constant over and over and over again. Didn't matter what class, whether I was learning about general population or sick in the hospital. It emphasize the amount of times that I've heard fat-free, low-fat dairy. I could just bang my head into a wall. Or whole grains, whole grains, whole grains, whole grains over and over and over again. And calories and just crap information that I know doesn't work.
So basically you're learning to tell people to do stuff that you knew was bad for you and you wouldn't do yourself. Yeah. And then you're paying money to learn to give advice that you knew through experience didn't work.
Correct.
And that was the system.
That was the system.
And so for 2 years, that's what you had to sit through. Was it so like? What parts of it were good? Was there any good parts in there that had to be something?
100%. So like a lot of I loved the like science-based classes, like. Because I had to go back and take like some way higher education, like science classes that I never had to take in undergrad. So learning like just the actual like metabolic processes in the body and like how food is digested. It doesn't matter what kind of food we're talking about, but learning that portion so that I can better understand how to explain to people. I think that's really powerful.
Did they make you like draw crib cycles and all that good stuff?
Oh yeah. I don't know how to do it anymore.
Pointless, really.
Right.
What about biochem, like drawing sugar rings and all that kind of stuff, amino acids?
Yeah, organic chem, took that too, all that stuff.
Yeah, so it's really interesting. It's a good base to understand it, but then when it comes to real world application, I don't think any of that stuff really matters.
No, because you don't ever explain it to people like that, and nobody cares.
And I was thinking, so you learned a lot about counting calories and talking calories.
Oh, yeah.
Here's something that always resonated with me is like, when were calories discovered? Not that long ago, right?
Right.
When were macros? So macros, fats, proteins, carbohydrates. When were those discovered? Not that long ago. Travel around the world to many, many countries where there's like people in their 80s that are active and fit and strong and amazing. You know what? They don't even know what the hell is a macro. Yeah. They don't even know what a freaking calorie is, right? Right. So to me, it's like the healthiest people throughout the history and the healthiest people on the planet, they don't even know what a freaking macro or calorie is, but they choose healthy whole foods, they stay active and whatever.
Not even on purpose, that's just what they do.
That's what's available. They don't have McDonald's in the back room. So what would you say is the worst advice that you were taught to give people that you knew was wrong?
Gosh. Oh, I guess probably what really hit me the hardest is because I learned a lot of like clinical nutrition.
Define that.
Clinical nutrition, like basically how to, I guess, feed people, for lack of a better word, when they're sick in the hospital.
Okay. So
that's what
they
really
teach
got me.
that. So that would be different than if you're not sick. So you're supposed to get different foods if you're in a
Yes.
hospital. Really?
Yeah. Well, according to the textbooks, I mean, it's all about just getting food in their bodies.
Right.
So it doesn't matter if it's sugar. I mean, a lot of like carbs, and sugar over and over again. And I just sat there and.
So when you say carbs, like carbs is in grains?
Grains, sugar, like sugary drinks,
Oh.
a lot of that. I learned about like feeding tubes and everything and like what goes into those. And I'm
Right.
like, you're laying there sick on your deathbed in the hospital and we're going to fuel your immune system with sugar. Great idea, not.
Right.
So that's probably some of the dumbest advice that really I was like, I first of all, that basically took off the list. Well, I'll never work in clinical nutrition in a hospital
Right.
setting because I cannot ethically do that.
To
I can't
someone.
order that up. Yeah.
It's funny, when I went in for hip surgery, I brought a cooler with me, and they're like, "You brought a cooler?" I'm like, "Well, I'm not gonna eat the stuff that you're gonna give me, most likely."
Right.
So I just had
right.
a cooler full of good food, and thank God I did. Really.
Right.
What else was there? That's interesting.
So I mean that's probably the worst to me because that's a time in your life when you're at your most vulnerable state. You know, when your immune
Oh,
system's
yeah.
suppressed, like more than ever, you need to be eating
Super good
foods, like overcompensate over the top.
It's really interesting because I was gonna post this on my page one day. It was a dude who was really awesome. He like protected someone with a knife and he got stabbed a few times, which is a very heroic thing. But he's sitting in the hospital bed recovering with a giant thing of pizza in his hand. Which to me, like, if I'm recovering from surgery, I want to have the most perfect damn foods ever because I want to give my body, one, the materials it needs to repair, but two, I mean, you're damaged, you're inflamed. I don't want to be eating a bunch of pro-inflammatory foods, so I'm over-inflamed and in more pain and inhibiting healing. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I think that's so important. Off topic, while I'm thinking about it, do they teach differently what a kid is supposed to eat relative to adult or not?
No, you know, not that I can recall. I'll be quite honest with you. Sometimes I felt like I would just kind of like black out in class because I would try to on purpose because it was painful. It was painful, and I don't remember necessarily learning that. I mean, I did work in a childcare setting though. I should tell you that in grad school where I had to feed kids that
animal crackers and stuff.
Yeah, because that's what the government. You have to.
I know, that's what makes it tough.
So, but that's a whole side tangent. But so that portion of things, I was exposed to that, but I don't remember like.
So you have to follow the government, because that's why I see such dumb guidelines. And you got to realize, so you look at the poster on the bottom. Will say developed by the USDA, United States Department of Agriculture. Yeah. So like anyone, if you visualize, say we're the United States Department of Agriculture sitting here, do you see a bunch of healthy people sitting around this table? Like, man, what do we feed people to make them really healthy? Or do you see a bunch of people sitting there like, man, how do we sell agricultural products so we can sell the products that we know in America? Which is the way it is. I did because a lot of times they recommend graham crackers as healthy. I actually made a video. I have it in my drawer still where I compared the ingredients of graham crackers to Oreo cookies. It's like the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much every sort of cracker that's healthy or whatever is processed oils, refined grains, sugars, different combinations of that. It's all about the same.
Yeah, you can feed them that, but you can't put like an apple and I'm trying to think of an example. A couple times I wanted to put like an apple and what's a good example? You have to have a whole grain. You have to have a whole grain. So I can't even think right now, but like I would try to get away from that, like not putting a whole grain snack in there, and you have to.
Yeah, here's what just some people know, because you've been marketed so much to believe that you need whole grains, It's 100% not true. So if you look at just study humans throughout history, for the overwhelming majority of our time, humans weren't out pulling grass seeds off and eating grass seeds, right? And just so you know, there's essential fatty acids and essential amino acids, which means there's fats and proteins you have to eat or you die. Like, they're essential to life. There's no such thing as the essential carbohydrate. None. Like, there's no such thing. You can literally live and potentially thrive on just good proteins and good fats. So to make something mandatory that is just ridiculous is kind of crazy. And then to call certain things that are extremely healthy unhealthy, right? So you got to take the fats out of things.
Yeah.
Because saturated fats are bad, whole grains are good. Nonsense. It keeps you. It's just it's like no wonder why Health is so crazy. So anyhow, you're paying a lot of money to be taught this.
Too much.
So you could get a degree.
Still paying.
Right? So you can get a degree to teach opposite of what they told you to tell.
Yeah,
I shouldn't say opposite. I'm sure they recommend fruits and vegetables.
Absolutely. That's one commonality that I could agree with, that across honestly, any diet plan or anything that you learn.
Not anymore. You got the what is it?
Keto?
No, not keto. Well, keto to a point. The carnivore diet, we're like
zero. Yeah, okay.
Anything. We're short term, maybe. I don't see that being a very good long term.
It's not sustainable.
What about eggs? What do they say about eggs?
That was one of those things that finally was starting to come out. That's okay. Yeah, I didn't hear a whole lot of like don't eat eggs, which I was surprised, but definitely fats. That's what really got me, because I'm very passionate about getting good healthy fats in the diet. And
so what were their fat recommendations?
Well, first of all, a lot of like low fat dairy, fat free dairy products. That was a common recommendation.
So take out
no coconut oil. Don't touch that. Olive oil is they talked about olive oil,
good.
But
what about the like canola, corn, safflower?
I remember
soy.
I remember learning a lot about canola oil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They probably said that was good because it's omega-3s in it.
Yep.
So one thing with canola oil is it's ridiculously processed. Like, how do you take grass seeds? Actually, so canola is from rape seeds, but calling it rape oil probably won't sell very well.
No.
So canola, Canada, low oleic oil, blah, blah. So anyhow, they pull the oil. Like, how do you get oil out of grass seeds, right? It's a very industrial, chemical process. It's nothing humans would come across in hundreds of thousands of years of life. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make any sense. But then you take an olive, you just squeeze the oil out, right? Just press it, you get the oil. It's naturally occurring form, something we eat. The one thing though that I don't think a lot of people realize is any oils, it's a processed food in a way, right? So like if I eat a bowl of olives, I'm gonna get some olive oil, but you also get all the fiber and the meat of the olive to reduce how much oil I intake. If I squeeze the oil out and dump a bunch of that oil on my salad, you're getting a ton of oil, which is still healthy, but you can overdo it, and eating too much even good oil can pack on fat.
Right.
Does that make sense? Same with coconut oil, right? Eating a coconut is a lot different than having all the oils. And so it's just something to be careful about. It's healthy, but it is kind of a processed thing. And again, travel back in time, nobody was squeezing. I guess the only, like just cutting fat off an animal. Like, that could be just pure fat that people would eat. It's so interesting too. When you think about this, I don't know if you ever thought about this, but it's just came to me. So let's say you're walking through the woods, right? Let's say you're just exploring the woods. Like, what plant would you eat? Right? Like, what berries do you see in the woods do you feel comfortable eating? So, like, how many plants put poison on themselves to make you sick so you don't eat it, right?
Yeah.
Most.
Yeah.
Including grains. That's why it causes digestive distress for so many people. Now, when you're going through that same woods, which animal can you not eat? None of them. Like every single bird, egg, whatever animal you come across is edible. And especially the ones you want are the ones with fat, because what is it called? Rabbit fever or rabbit whatever, where you eat really lean meats and people can get really sick because they need the fat.
Yeah.
Is it called rabbit fever?
I don't know.
Rabbit is something. But it's really interesting to think about. It's like, all right, so plants are so damn good. If you're walking in the woods, what the hell are you going to eat, right? But any fish you find, any crustacean, any shellfish, any of those animals, you're going to eat. And what's the first thing that most people are going to eat? The organs. Like, travel back. You know what I think? So what's the best, serious, like, most nutrient-dense food on the planet that nobody wants to eat anymore is organ meats. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
So you guys asking, what's a superfood? I'd say organ meats. So it's one thing, I'll eat it, but it's just not part of our culture anymore. And it should be, really. But they talk about organ meats in those schools or anything like that?
Oh, no. No, nutrient density is not a conversation.
Really? It's not a conversation?
I don't remember, not to the degree that I'm passionate about it. Maybe the word was touched upon, like defined somewhat, but... Well,
so what is nutrient density? So let's say you have 500, I'll just calories, grams, whatever, it doesn't matter. Let's say you have a portion of liver and a portion of pasta. Exact same sizes. The liver is going to be just packed full of good nutrients, whereas the pasta is going to have next to none.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So I just call it Americans, we're overfed and starving at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, how is that possible? Because we're overfed with empty calories, right? So you get a bunch of energy, but there's very little nutrition.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting, you know what I mean? It's like, how are we're so overweight, yet we're starving at the same time. And then I think people are hungry all the time because their body's craving good nutrition.
Yep.
Right? So,
Yep.
And then when you work with people, do you find when they start eating nutrient-dense foods, you just eat less?
Oh gosh, yeah. That's why when people ask, like, you know, initial people, right, when they walk in the door, like, about calories or how do they know how much, and I just tell them flat out, when you start eating like this and you get the crap out of your body, you'll know how much to eat.
Yeah.
You really don't have to think about it. It becomes mindless.
I never ever even think about portion sizes.
No, if I'm hungry, eat. Then I stop, and then I get hungry again, I'll eat again.
I find too, like, if you're hungry and you're craving like Doritos, you're not hungry, you're bored, and you're craving short-term pleasure.
Yeah.
Right? If you're hungry and like a steak and a sweet potato and vegetables sounds amazing, you're probably hungry.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I think so often we eat out of boredom and just looking for short-term crunch or short-term. Food companies they're really fucking good at combining like crunch with salt and sugar to make it like this most amazing texture, taste.
There's equations
addicting.
for that.
Oh,
Legitimately, it's disgusting.
It's amazing. That's why you can't stop eating it. And then when you're done, you're starving because you didn't get any nutrition. It's very, very brilliant on their part, but it's killing us.
The more you learn about that kind of stuff, the way less you want to purchase it. I wouldn't want to give them my money for the life of me.
Like the food science industry.
Yes,
like,
it's disgusting.
Like very, very intelligently designed. And that's one thing too, is like, oh, you don't give your kids, like, no, like, why would I want to get them hooked on Doritos? Like, why even bother? So like my kids, they crave nuts and they crave berries and they crave avocados and they beg for eggs sunny side up and they literally beg me for fish oil treats. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just all learned. One thing, I was gonna post this too, these, so cool. These young girls, I don't know where it was, but they were catching tarantulas and then cooking them in this soup, you know what I mean? And just eating tarantulas. And like to you and I were probably gross or people watching.
Yeah.
But they loved it because it's learned. Everything is learned. Like every damn thing a kid eats is learned. So in some parts of the world, they learn to eat tarantulas and they eat seal eyeballs as ice cream and they eat organ meats and they eat whatever. So like, all right, if my kid starts eating junk and wanting soda and whatever, it's because I taught him. And it's like, I don't want to teach him that because I know, down the road, no kid will ever thank you for getting them hooked on soda. But at some point, let's say, hey, thanks for not having soda in the house. I think. I don't know. Maybe it's really... That brought me up the other day. Speaking of kids, you brought it up the other day, and I brought this up with you, and it takes weird people like us to notice this, I think.
Yeah. So,
the Gatorade. How old was the kid, and what did he or she drink?
Like 5, I would say.
How many pounds was the kid?
I'm so bad at estimating that. What is a 5-year-old skinny? 5-year-old?
40 pounds?
40 pounds? Sure, we'll call it 40. That sounds about right. Entire, I don't even know the sizes. They don't buy crap like that. 16 ounces probably. It's a little bigger than a 12-ounce water bottle. Yeah, I would say 16 ounces. All in one. All in one setting within an hour.
40-pound kid, which is 1/5 my size, right? Drinking 16 ounces of Gatorade, which has got about 11 spoonfuls of sugar in it, right? So he's 1/5 my size. So if we compared it, it'd be like me sucking down 5 of those, which would be 55 spoonfuls of sugar in 1 hour. And that's just the way it is, man. Like how that is anything other than terrible for someone, I don't know. But it's just we've been marketed to believe like Gatorade is it's just freaking sugar water with a little bit of other stuff in it. But I always say this is my weird brain. So I visualize my kid having so for my kid it'd be the same. He's about 40 pounds, 5-year-old. A 16-ounce bottle of water with a bowl of sugar and a spoon next to it. So I don't think anyone would ever just give their kid a bowl of sugar and a spoon and say, here, help yourself, enjoy your sugar and wash it down with water. But if we dump it in the water and add some coloring, it's perfectly acceptable. It's really interesting. That's just marketing.
And I've never even like broke it down and thought about it like that.
But if you visualize it's the exact same. It's the only difference is someone took the bowl of sugar and dumped it in the water for you, right? It's crazy.
And it's socially normalized, 100%.
It's to not do that, you're the weirdo. But that's okay to be weird. because weird's pretty good, I think. When you're in graduate school, what do they tell, like, what do they talk about as far as what people should drink? Was it like limited, don't drink any, drink only water, you know what I'm saying? Back up. Did they teach, like, you're supposed to get 3 servings of dairy per day? That's the government guidelines.
Yeah.
You know how much that is? You know how hard, like, that's a ton.
Yeah.
A ton.
Well, I was doing it in the childcare setting for 2 and 3 year olds, every single breakfast was skim milk. Well, depending on the age.
Right.
Depending upon the kind of milk they got. But breakfast, snack, lunch, and PM snack. Milk.
4 times a day.
And then they still have to go home. And whatever they're getting. And sometimes it would be milk and a string cheese.
For every single kid.
Yeah. Oh, and then some crackers with that.
With crackers.
Yeah, that was common. Milk, string cheese, and crackers.
So what is it, like 65% of humans are lactose intolerant. So of those kids, so we'll just say 6 in 10 have a lactose intolerance, and they had to get milk every single day.
Yeah, well, a lot of it was dumped down the drain. They didn't drink it all, but...
But still, knowing that 6 out of 10 kids are lactose intolerant, which means that, because I'm one of those people, they're going to get gas and bloating and stomach pain and diarrhea or constipation. And then, too, depending on, like, Asians, it's over 90%.
Yeah.
So, like, I could never in good conscience give any Asian kid milk knowing there's a better than 90% chance it's going to hurt them.
Yeah.
But they would do that. It's so interesting. You know what the most commonly drink milk worldwide is? It's goat milk, right? So for some reason here it's cow, it's marketing. But worldwide it's goat, and it's not pasteurized and homogenized like it is here. And those goats aren't given bovine growth hormone like it is here. So you take this pasteurized, homogenized, bovine growth hormone given stuff, and you're forced to give it to kids in school settings because it's good for them.
Yeah.
So I can see why you quit before getting the RD.
Oh, it's amazing I lasted as long as I did.
The
only reason I have my master's degree now is because I was only 1 semester. And
you're pot committed.
Exactly. I would have been dumb to drop out at that point. At least I have some credential to take out of it. I'm not going to give them that much money and at least not have some letters to take to throw behind my name. I don't know when I'll use them, but it's amazing I made it that long, quite honestly. Yeah.
So when you're filling out tests, did you do stuff that you thought was wrong, but you knew was the answer they were looking for?
100%. Well, because I'm a type A personality, so I'm not gonna. I'm a rule follower.
Right.
Good or bad, it's the way I am, and I wanted to get A's.
Right. Yeah, I'd have got kicked out of school for arguing for sure.
Right. Yeah, I probably could have stood up for myself a little bit more. But I mean, the nice thing about the grad school versus the undergraduate to be at RD, certified through that organization, is there's a little bit more flexibility and freedom. It was a lot of like research based, like give a presentation in grad school. So I could do. I remember doing a PowerPoint presentation my last semester on research behind dairy products and we need them as humans. So, and I gave my argument there, and so I did have some ability to do some things like that. But the undergrad, it was just like, it's all government led. There's credentials to be a registered dietitian, and forever for the rest of my life, then I would have been licensed under that organization that is licensed under the government that sets out the food rules, and I was not going to be told what I can and cannot tell people, because they would have. They can come after you and take away your license if I would tell people not to have dairy or whole grains, because I know past dietitians that have had their license revoked because they're putting out information like we are.
Right. Yeah. So that's what I understand is that the government is wrong so many times, and yet people still take their advice. For example, don't eat eggs, they're going to kill you. So sorry, eggs are amazingly good for you, and eating cholesterol doesn't raise your cholesterol, which I remember doing this in talks 15 years ago, and people in the audience freaking out thinking like my heart's going to explode. I'm like, dude, all my numbers are pristine. And if you just look at it, it doesn't make any sense. But then too, remember, I don't know, it was probably done by the time you started, maybe not. But the government used to say, eat trans fats, eat your margarine. Remember, they like pushed it? And then eventually it's like, oh my gosh, this has killed so many people. We gotta ban it.
Yeah.
Right? So it's
I grew up in more fat-free era, like every little bit of fat taken out. Everything fat-free, yeah.
Sugar doesn't matter, get rid of the fat.
Yep.
Eat lots of grains. And then that's worked out really well. All right, so thinking of you know, you got all that in place. So what do you typically have for breakfast? Everyone's got habits, and I know you do too.
So I'm not like a total creature of habit. It's kind of like, I like variety. I know a lot of people are like, I could eat the same thing every single day.
Yeah,
I love to cook, and I love culinary experience. So I don't eat the same thing every day, but I eat eggs like 95% of the time. Usually 3. 2 doesn't really fill me up, so I usually eat 3 eggs. Sometimes I throw a bunch of veggies in the pan. Today I had an avocado that was going bad, so I ate 2 eggs and an entire avocado.
Dude, that's a lot of fat. You're gonna
die. It is a lot of fat. I am gonna die probably.
Just fall over dead. You should have thrown all of that out and had some fat.
I had a little Kerrygold butter in the pan too that I cooked my eggs in. Like that or not, I did.
Oh my gosh, you are extra dead.
Yeah, but I ate that at what time? 7 this morning. I don't know what time it is now, but I'm not even a bit hungry.
11. Here's something on that too for everyone. This is so important. So, and there's studies on this. So you had your breakfast was nothing but fats and proteins. Yeah. That's all it was. There was no carbohydrate. Oh, you had a little avocado, so there's probably some in there.
Yeah.
But anyhow, the eggs there's no. Anyhow, so if you, let's say you have 500 calories of eggs, which is fat and protein, and then you have 500 calories of, say, pancakes, right?
Yeah.
Exact same size. Subconsciously, people who have the pancakes are going to eat far more throughout the day because it doesn't fill you up, right? So in mid-morning, you're going to be hungry, starving, and you're going to be wanting what? More of this junk. So just by starting your day with a breakfast like you have, you subconsciously eat less, so you will, without even trying, lose fat, unwanted fat. Plus, you're getting more nutrition in your body. Like it's everything about it's a win-win-win.
Yeah.
And do you think it takes any more time and effort to fry up 2 eggs and grab an avocado, or fry up 2 eggs and an apple or whatever, than it does to put toast in your toaster and spread some jelly on it, right? Or to whip up some pancake batter or put some Pop-Tarts in the toast. You know what I mean? Like the time comparison, and then cost. And you don't have to get the $4 a dozen organic eggs. I mean, if you can get it, but the 99-cent dozen eggs is probably less expensive. So what would 2 eggs be then? So you're 12, like freaking 10 cents.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's probably less expensive than the bowl of cereal.
Oh, yeah.
So it's less expensive, more nutritious, stay full longer, like.
And then once you start to eat this, I mean, that was delicious. It's
amazing.
Like, it's so good.
What do you put on it for seasonings?
Well, today I used that everything but the bagel seasoning.
Yeah,
I love that on avocados. So good. Usually, honestly, on eggs, like, I don't get real fancy because like I said, I use Kerrygold butter. I just, salt and pepper it. Done, but I don't know. And other times, if I add veggies to it, I'll add some other, like, herbs and things like that.
Nice.
But, yeah.
So my breakfasts are, more often than not, it's just leftover supper, which is even faster.
Gosh.
So, like, I'll literally just pull my pulled pork out of the fridge that I made, and that's been, I made enough for a week, with some beets and sour. I mean, just whatever's there. Just done. All right, what's the typical lunch?
Well, honestly, usually lunch. Depends how big my breakfast is. Like, sometimes, to be honest with you, my lunch is like snacky.
Yeah.
Snacky, fruit, nuts.
Mine too. I say, like, right now I have Amber's bringing it. These Ferndale hot dogs. Right?
Yeah.
It's just a hot dog with just good stuff in it. I have 2 of those. Right. It costs $1 a piece. $2 is my lunch. I
do a lot of, like, those kinds of things. Yeah. Not that exact brand, but I like grass-fed beef hot dogs or something like that, and I'll, like, just cut that up and saute it with, like, put cabbage in the pan or something, like some kind of veggie, and I just eat, like, a little skillet.
See, I don't even do that. I just pull it out of the package and eat it.
It works too.
I mean, that's my lunch. Like, let's say I have 4 of those. Like, I don't need 4. I'll have 2, maybe 3. They're $1 a piece. So, like, if I ate the whole damn package, it's $8.
Yeah.
So it's like, how many people? I don't even know what a value meal costs. $5?
I don't know. Yeah, right? Probably.
Or more. I don't even know. But it's like less than. It's amazingly nutrient dense, phenomenal tasting food for less than a McDonald's value. You know what I mean?
But people will look at that in the store and they'll say, "Oh my gosh, $6 for a package of hot dogs. Right. I can go over here and buy the $3 pack." But overall, you switch to this, you're 100% going to save money, even buying the good quality stuff.
Absolutely, it's so worth it. So then dinner. What do your dinners look like?
Honestly, every morning I go, because I have a deep freezer full of, I have pig that I buy every fall, half pig. I have grass-fed beef, like quarter of a cow that I buy once a year. So I've got beef, I've got pork, I've got Amish Farms chicken, different kinds. I've got a little bit of fish, whatever. I pull something out. So like
in the morning, you just pull some
out. Like this morning, pulled some pork chops out, and I always have endless amounts of vegetables in my fridge. So I love the heck out of roasted vegetables. This time of year, cannot stop eating.
So define roasted vegetables. How would you do it?
Oh, let's just say I have some Brussels sprouts and sweet potatoes or whatever, onions, anything. I chop it all up, put it in a bowl, toss it with a little avocado oil, usually garlic, salt, and pepper.
And then just throw it in the oven?
400, 425. Roast it till it's
you stab it with a fork. Yeah, yep. So I do very similar, but often I just usually stir fry. Exact same thing, throw it in a pan, stir it up as I'm cooking. But it's always a meat base.
Yep.
Shit ton of veggies. And then too, let's say I was trying to lose some weight, right? And let's say I eat my meat, I eat my veggies, and then my dessert's always fruit.
Yep.
Apple, banana, berries, whatever. And then my fruit, it's always whatever's on sale. That's how I buy fruit. And then to me, if it's if I eat the peels, I buy organic. Mm-hmm. To me, I think that's just things, and especially my kids, they get organic. And if I peel it like a banana, I'll get conventional. Avocado, I'll get conventional.
Unless organic's on sale, then I just do it because
you know. But anyhow, let's say I eat, and then I'm still really hungry. I'm gonna just go eat more veggies. Like if I was trying to lose weight, like I would just go with the veggies, right? And it just always works. But you get to a point like I just eat whatever that is. What I want is as much as I want. But it's the exact same. So when you do snack, if you do snack, what do you snack on?
Well, right now in the car, I've got an apple and some cashews that I'll probably eat on the way home.
Right.
Because I try not to let myself get like ravenously hungry. That's the other thing. Because when I do that, I will go home and then I won't stop for like, I'll just like eat for an hour. And I don't need to do that. Like I'll eat and I'm like not satisfied. I'll eat a little more. So if I find like, if I just keep something that maybe I'm hungry when I'm on my way home, I'll snack on that. But something like that, a lot of like fruit and nuts, I do a lot of that. I try, like I try to snack on just raw veggies if I like prep and think about it. I do like to do that just to get more in my diet.
You know what I had last night? Because you guys, what's that sauce? Bitchin' sauce. Cauliflower dipped in bitchin' sauce.
So good.
It was really good. My little girl tried it though. She just kept going, yuck. So
really?
She didn't like the bitchin' sauce.
Probably too spicy for her, maybe. For me. I don't know.
All right, let's say, do you have, and I don't care if you do, right? Bad stuff in the house?
Bad stuff. Let's see. Let me think. I have chocolate all the time. But see, like I don't buy bad chocolate. Like I still go to the co-op and buy organic dark chocolate. But I wouldn't even say that's the worst thing. Do I have bad stuff in the house? I do keep like crackers, like Simple Mills. You know that brand?
No.
You probably don't buy anything like that. But they do almond flour crackers, and it's...
Oh, yeah, I have some Simple Mills.
Simple Mills, they do a lot of different things. I do keep, like, crackers in the house like that, because I have a husband that feels like needs, like, something like that, like salsa, chips and salsa.
Right.
So things like that, I don't know. Well, I mean, I'm not perfect 100% of the time.
I just think, the reason I ask, I think an important thing is an environment.
Yeah.
So if I have junk in the house, I'm going to eat it.
Right. I guess I should have answered that simply. I knew what you were going at, but no, I don't.
Because one of the reasons I got it was the, some ND put out some guidelines from, I don't know which hospital it was, but it was like, put your ice cream in the back of the freezer and put your chips in the back of the cupboard. Like, you're going to be craving ice cream and you're going to reach part way and be like, oh, I'd eat it, but it's too far. You know what I mean?
No.
So stupid. So for me, if it's not in the house, I don't even think about it. Right?
Right.
But let's say you do love Oreos and you're sitting on your chair, you know those Oreos are in the counter or in the cupboard or whatever, and you're going to go eat it. So it's like if it's just not there, it makes it so damn much easier.
I I even find that with my quote unquote healthier snacks. Like I still like the crackers. Yep, they're made of almond flour, but they're still processed, and they're not great. And I overeat them then, right? Yep. Like with anything. And I notice that when they're there, I'll eat them. If they're not, if I just don't buy the stupid things, I don't think about it. I'm not gonna go run to festival and grab them. Are you kidding me? No.
Yeah, it's such a simple thing. It saves you money. It saves you. One thing to do is willpower. It's a muscle. It is, and it gets tired throughout the day. So if you have like junk foods in the break room at work and whatever, it takes willpower. Well, by the end of the day, you're tired and whatever, your willpower is gone and you'll grab that stuff. But if it's not there, you don't do it. And the one thing that I like to do too is with nuts, right? Because I love mixed nuts. I will only buy unseasoned plain nuts because otherwise they taste too damn good. And I'll overeat them just because of pleasure. So if they're like, got the barbecue wasabi salted nuts, you just pack them away.
Even just salted in general,
so
pack
good.
them away. Yeah.
So I always get as plain as possible, and still then it's easy to overeat nuts, so I got to be careful. So I'll have some, then I really don't think it's possible to overeat apples. Have you ever met anyone that's got weight issues because of too many apples?
No.
Like I will never, like if I want it, I'll just eat another apple. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think it's possible.
No, and I think the most I've ever eaten, because it's apple season, go pick them at the apple orchard. They're so flipping good this time of year. I'm no shame to say that I've had like 4 in one time straight through. Like on the way home, like geez, these are good. But still, you can't really. I'm done after that. Then I'm kind of like, oh, geez.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, yesterday
you can't overeat them. I mean,
no. Actually, this is I think it's really cool. I literally sat under an apple tree yesterday up in the woods, just mowing down apples. It's a wild apple tree of mine, just loaded with amazing apples, and there's no guilt in that. I just had a thought and it slipped. Well, here's a question: how did you, or why do you think you have an interest in this field?
Why do I think?
Like, where do you think it came from? I always wonder that myself. It's like, how did I get so into this stuff? But what do you think? Like, how do you get into nutrition and being interested in what you do, like so health conscious?
Gosh, I don't know, because it goes like a ways back. Like, because even before I interned for you, I mean, I was always just like, I was going to school for fitness. So I obviously, like, something peaked there. I guess probably just people I chose to surround myself with. And they, it was talk, it was conversation. Now, why do I? Because I've done it for so long, and I want people to know how good it feels to feel good. Because there's so many people that don't, and I'm so passionate about. I mean, I wake up every day, I have the same amount of energy throughout the entire day. It doesn't matter, which I don't usually do this, but it doesn't matter if I get 4 hours of sleep or 9 hours of sleep. I feel amazing. I feel so good, and I want people to feel that. And
so
that's what drives me to get up every day and do this, because people need to learn it.
I saw people like, oh, it's crazy, like, oh, you're so strict. Grabbing an apple isn't strict, man. I mean, it's like, it's not strict, right? Eating eggs instead of cereal, I mean, that's not strict. Having a steak and veggies and fruit instead of pasta and lasagna and pizza, that's not strict. You know what I mean?
No, right.
But I feel so god dang good. It's like, I was like, why wouldn't you want to feel this good?
Right.
And then with little kids, it's like, man, why wouldn't you want them to wake up feeling amazing, right? To be tired and sluggish and in pain, and I just don't get it, man. So it's like, and then every single person, I don't think you have, I guarantee you haven't. I have yet to have a person that like adopts what we teach and say, oh yeah, it didn't work. Like, you always feel better. Maybe not right away, because you're, getting over an addiction. It's only too, when you cut out, you've probably seen this.
Oh yeah.
When you cut out the junk food, because it is addicting, sometimes for the first few days to a couple weeks, you don't feel very good. But then it's like, oh my God, I didn't know my body could feel this amazing.
Yeah.
Right? And it's an addiction. A lot of times, like if an alcoholic cuts out booze, they go through withdrawals and they feel bad.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean their body needs alcohol, right? They're going through withdrawals. If you cut out pizza and pasta and all that stuff and you feel worse for a little bit, it doesn't mean your body just needs that junk. It's a drug withdrawal. That's what it is. By the way, dope, right? Dope. It's like, why? Like, you eat chips and all, drink soda, whatever, it gives you pleasure.
Right.
It's like, what is pleasure? It's dopamine. It's a hormone. That's where dope comes from. Doing dope, whatever gives you dopamine. So these foods are like, they're in a lab designing stuff to give you a dopamine hit. That's why it's so damn addicting. So when you come off it, it's like any other addiction, right? You have withdrawals.
Right.
And it just is, man. It just...
We're humans. We're all like that. I guarantee if we put a bag of... I don't know what gets... what.
Dude, like nacho cheese Doritos taste amazing.
Tastes good to you, of course. And if they're in your house, you're going to eat them.
You get rid of them.
Well, whatever. But if they're
like
open
in my belly.
Exactly. But you, like, that's the difference between you and I and somebody else. We just don't put it in our house, and therefore then we don't eat it. We're humans too. We get it. The food tastes good. Like,
it would be good, amazing for whatever 5-10 minutes it takes me to polish off that bag. But the diarrhea and gut rot and fat stomach that I get later definitely isn't worth it, for sure. One thing too, I gotta make a bit, and this just it happens every year. But when I go hunting, I put on my hunting pack. And I don't know what it is, 40, 50 pounds maybe, which, and it's on my back. When I take it off, it's like, oh my God, thank God I can take this thing off. I couldn't imagine carrying it on my front 24/7. Like, that's so hard.
No.
That is so hard. And to just choose amazing, tasty, and healthy foods isn't hard compared to that. I guarantee. That's one thing too. But on the same note, it can be daunting. Anytime, like, change is daunting. That's why I try and make the 6-week challenge like as simple as humanly possible, right? To make the transition as easy as possible. And then most people, once you do it, it's like, man, it's like a smartphone. When you get a smartphone, it's like, I remember when I got it, I'm like, how in God's name am I going to figure this dumb thing out? And then a week later, it's like, how in God's name am I going to live without this amazing piece of tech? It's kind of how healthy eating is in a way. I don't know. But yeah, so you didn't have any, like, sometimes people have like an overweight family member that struggles, or bulimia, or something in their family that, or something with your own health that triggered the passion. But
yeah, see, I'm kind of a boring person that way. I don't have like some amazing like success story. Like I don't have I didn't have a huge health scare with myself or somebody else.
Right.
Kind of boring, to be quite honest with you, but I've just kind of always been interested in it.
Just interested in it.
I know, super boring.
It's a cool, everyone who does it, they get better, and it just makes you feel good.
Yeah.
I don't know, I like that a lot. These are questions I like from other podcasts, but if you could write anything on a billboard, what would you write?
Oh.
I should have prepped you a little bit, but I just put you on the spot.
Can you go first?
You want me to? I got a lot, but
just to let my brain start turning a little bit here.
Guide you. Mine, like, one of my big ones is take some self-responsibility, right? Or stop being such a pussy. Like, one of
just straight up. Okay.
Yeah, like one of those two is like, stop, because it's just so many sissies these days. It drives me crazy. But yeah, that's probably, it's like, just be more responsible. Because it comes back to, it's happened to me twice last week, right? So a parent's like, oh, I was outside riding a bike with my son. And then a parent was on side, like, oh, I wish my kids got outside, but they're just inside on the damn iPad all the time. It's like, well, you bought it for them, dipshit. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, well, how are you blaming what you did on them? Which is, and I don't know if it's subconscious or whatever, but I like to look at everything that happens, good and bad, and see, like, how is it my responsibility?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I wish, it's like, oh, my kid, all he wants to eat is, like, well, you bought it. You got him hooked on it. You did all of this. You undo it. It just is.
Right.
So, like, I don't know. So that's one thing. And then two, like, the stuff people me included. I love history.
Yeah.
Dude, people used to be so tough. Like, I'm not very tough at all. And then the rest of, it's not. So it'd be a billboard. I should put it on my mirrors, like, stop being such a sissy, Steve, because I need to toughen up. But anyhow, what would be on your billboard?
I don't know exactly how to word it. I'd have to sit and reflect upon, but I'll just explain more so than rather give my little, like, slogan. But basically, like, I'm a big believer in, like, you attract, like, what kind of energy you're putting out there, what kind of vibe you're putting out there. And if you're constantly negative, I can't do this, nope, it's not going to happen, well, guess what? It's not going to happen.
Right.
So Just change your freaking attitude. There we go. There's what I'm gonna write.
Change your attitude?
Just change your attitude. And
you put it like in quotes underneath, unless you have a good attitude.
right. But there's just so many people that, you know, just working in this industry and like, oh, it's just negative. It can be very negative and doom and gloom and woe is me. How about we just look at it differently? And I don't know.
You know what? Because history. Like, the more history I read and learn about how people used to live and how people lived around the world and how people actually live right now, like, we got it so goddamn good. So good. Reading history makes me more appreciative and happy every single day. It's just like, thank God I wasn't born in this era. Thank God I wasn't born in this era. Thank God I wasn't born in this era in this part of the world. Thank God, thank God. And then I look at it, it's like, when would be the greatest time and place to be born ever? Right here, right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the stuff we have right now, the kings of Rome couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
Could you imagine, like, getting in a car that's a perfect temperature all the time? The seat can either heat or cool your tush.
Yeah.
You have a little computer built in the damn dashboard that I can talk to anyone on the planet real time, and I can drive 5 minutes damn near anywhere and have food from all over the world available to me for a few dollars. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, the lives we live, kings 1,000 years ago couldn't have even imagined.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just think about that. And then every time I read that, it's like, my God. And then obviously bad things happen in life, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And it happens to everyone, but overall, yeah, it just makes your attitude better.
So be grateful. That could be another billboard slogan.
Think, be grateful, and, you know, shit happens to all of us, but overall.
But a lot of good stuff happens to a lot of us too.
Yeah. And then, because I used to be bad at that too, right? You know, when I was younger, think about like, oh, why couldn't I have this? Why don't I have this? Why don't I? And now it's like, thank God I have this. Thank God I have this. Or no matter where, like you can, at any age, if you don't like what you're doing or doing whatever, you can pick up books and read and learn a new skill and get a new job. It's like, and it's everywhere at the, you know, I don't know, you're younger than me, but were you taught the Dewey Decimal System?
I think so.
In the library, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Like all those things on the side.
Okay. I just didn't.
So, like, let's say I want to learn something. You have those microfiche slides and the Dewey Decimal System. Now with like a few clicks, I can have the biggest library in the world, and I can just sit and read and learn like all day long.
Yeah.
So anyhow, grateful. I love it. All right, here's this one. I like this one a lot. If you could punch anyone in the face, who would you choose?
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's a good question. It's got to be someone out there that's like, man, I just like to punch that dude or that girl.
Oh.
Maybe not. You're a lot nicer than me.
I am.
My list is so long.
I'm probably too nice. I don't know. There's been times in the moment, but like overall, who do I want to punch in the face? You need to be meaner. That's a great. I'm gonna think of something after the fact. I'm gonna be driving home today and be like, oh, "That's right." I can't think of anything.
No, that's always a question. Like, whoever's watching, this is something like, man, if you just punch anyone in the face and I get in trouble, it's like, God, this person just needs to get punched in the mouth. Anything else you want to add that I haven't? I mean, I could talk for hours.
Easy.
But I know we got a class coming soon.
If you're thinking about becoming a registered dietitian, you follow what we do, just don't do it. Don't waste your money. Because I knew better.
Yeah.
I knew better. And I did it anyways. I like this one too. Any like nutrition that comes out like by the media, we'll just put it that way. Any nutritional advice or that's supported by some product out there, it's garbage. I don't know. Could you agree with that?
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
Media supporting it and... Because I get questions all the time. Is this good? Is that good? What about this? I heard about this. Blah, blah, blah. One
thing I find as people are, it's really interesting. So if someone, just on a general day, they're eating pizza, mac and cheese, you name it, but then you start switching to a healthier lifestyle. It's like, what about this edamame? It's like, can I have this broccoli if it's not organic? And it's like, don't get that particular. You know what I'm saying? Don't overanalyze when you're getting healthy. It's like broccoli, go for it. You know, it's like when you're eating the pizza, you're never like, well, is this one certified organic? It's just funny how people do that. But the other thing I would end on, books, man. If you want to like, there's like some book. It's amazing. There's people that will take 20 years of life and just put it into one really good book. So if you want to learn about anything, just look for a couple good books and read them. And it's amazing how much knowledge you can get from like one or two really good books. And there's some that are, in my opinion, like completely changed how I viewed things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. That's something I was going to think about you. Anything else you want to?
Don't stress about all this stuff. Food. Don't stress about it. We got to eat to live. So that's it. We just overthink it. We're just programmed and hardwired to overthink it.
I think I'm
eat food. Eat real food.
Keep it simple. I think I go the opposite way to fault. Sometimes I make things like it can't be this easy. It's like it really is.
Yeah.
It's don't overcomplicate things. Keep it super, super simple. Don't stress. We'll have to do part 2 of this. I got a lot of questions popped up in my head. Hopefully you find some value.